Hi everyone, it's Richard here from Uuniversus, today with another box opening. So this is courtesy of UVS Games. They've sent us a copy of each of these Tekken 8 Clash decks to open on channel for you and just sort of show you what you get inside. Sort of briefly before we go into them, I will say these look like they're really good Clash decks in terms of sort of a very beginner friendly product. They look really good out of the box and a really good way of getting into the game and making a start, and look like they'll pair pretty well with each other. So you can see on the back of them we've got like the deck list and so forth. So yeah, we've got Jin and Jun. So we will start with Jin first, and we'll open this one up. As usual, I'm going to be terrible at opening boxes. There we go. And we'll get the stuff outside and see what we get inside. So there we go, that's everything. We can get rid of that. So we've got our deck. We've got our little QR code to go sign up on the UGen network. Obviously, if you do, if you're new to the game, obviously go make an account, get yourself some points, find your local stores, find local tournaments, and if you are new and then do sign up, please tell them that Uuniversus sent them to you. Helps us out. And we've got a nice little playmat, so I'll show this one in here. They should be, I'd imagine, exactly the same in both of the Clash decks. That little Tekken themed playmat, so you've got your progressive and all your different zones. Pretty nice. Always nice to have these little like paper playmats, especially for newer players. Helps them really sort of get to grips with the sort of the zones of the game. And then we've got our deck. So you usually have a pull tab. There we go. Okay. Open this up and see what we get. So these should be, I believe, 60 cards. Check that on the back of this one. I believe they're 60. Does it say 61? So yeah, 60 cards plus our character. So we have got Jin Kazuma, Lightning of Fate. We'll hold that up to the camera. It's a shiny character. So he is, so just let it zoom in, there we go. He is 631, he's on the air, evil and good symbol, so he's got the brawler trait. He's got enhanced commit, your attack gets +1 speed and +1 damage for each attack in your card pool. And then enhance, if your rival has 8 or more foundations, your attack gets +1 speed and +1 damage. So, if they go to 8, your every attack is getting +1/+1, and then once per turn he gets to stack a whole load of damage at something, hopefully on the end of his string. We then got our rare attack, so Blackout. So I think a lot of these are screen captures from the Tekken 8 video game. So this is a 3-3, so 3 difficulty, 3 check with a 2 high block, 3 low for 2 punch. So we're getting punches on the good symbol again. Enhance, this attack gets +1 damage for each attack in your card pool. So, something you definitely want to play at the end of your string. So we get 2 of those. As usual, I believe everything is at least a 2 of in these decks. We then got our ultra rare attack, and this one looks hella sweet. I think more bespoke art rather than video game art. So this is Polar Demon Gouge. So this is a 6-3 with a 0 low block, very nice low block there. 4 mid for 7, EX3 punch, so nice momentum out, and enhance, your rival check to block this attack gets -3. So it's already coming in at effectively 7 speed, and then any momentum means that 7 damage is probably going to be connecting. We then got our rare foundation, creating an opening. A 2-5 with a 3 mid block. Enhance, remove, if your rival has 8 or more foundations, their check to block this attack gets -3. So yeah, they really don't want to be going to 8 against Jin. And then we have our ultra rare foundation. So we have the Devil Gene. So it's a 3-5 unique with a 2 mid block. Enhance, spend 1 momentum. If your rival has 8 or more foundations, your attack gets +3 speed. So yet more 8+ or punishment. And Enhance Destroy, if your character is Jin Kazuma, ready your character. So a way of getting a second use of that +1/+1 for each attack during your turn, so it's obviously going to be very useful in him. I believe, as we look, we seem to have all the same symbols. So the Clash decks, they don't tend to mix around the symbols on the cards. They're all going to be evil and good. And then we get into our sort of commons on commons. So we've got Brazilian Kick here. We've got 3 copies of that. A lot of these are going to be fairly straightforward, as you'd expect from a Clash deck. We've got 4 copies of Geyser. We have got 4 copies of High Right Roundhouse. We have got 3 copies of Over the Shoulder Reverse. And then we've got 3 copies of Switchblade. So a fairly reasonable attack lineup, plenty of 4s, a couple of 3s, and then a couple of sort of larger difficulties there. We're sort of splitting between the sort of kick and punch keyword here. Again, you sort of expect that from a Tekken character, right? With our solo throw over here, the over the shoulder reverse. Let me move that up there. We then got our foundations. So we've got Awakened Power Stance. We've got 3 of those. We've got Breaking Step. We've got 4 of those. We've got Jin's Cursed Blood. Got 4 of those. Jin's Heart. We've got 4 of those. Jin's Karate Training. We got 4 of those. I'm about to run out of room. Let's try and squeeze these up a little bit. Jin's Parry, so our 0 diff. Usually there's like at least 1 0 diff in all of these sort of Clash and Challenger decks. Quite a nice one actually, just when you block with it, ignores progressive difficulty, even though it's got a 3 mid, just a nice way of using that 0 later in the game. So we've got 4 of those. Then we have got 4 Kazama style combos. We've got 4 Key Charge Strike. And then we've got 4 Warped Intentions. So that's our Jin deck. So we're all about trying to play a bunch of attacks, and then hopefully by the time the last one they can't block and it gets that +1/+1. With a couple of big boys to start off our chain, and then hopefully we maybe get a Devil Gene out so we can reuse his +1/+1. And if your opponent ever goes to 8+, in order to get the resources to try and block our strings, well then we've got loads of stuff here that gets to punish them. So our Face Enhance, and then our Unique Foundation does that. And I think there's maybe at least 1 more that punishes if they've got 8+. They're creating an opening. So that's our Jin deck. So sort of about sort of putting a string of attacks together to try and land that last one with all that extra damage. Maybe the odd poke with here. Your opponent's going to sell out to block your Polar Demon Gouge when maybe they've got a big boy coming in later. So that's our Jin Kazama deck. Again, nothing too overly complex in these, but there's some nice pieces in there. Like I think they're positioned really nicely for a beginner player, a newer player, to sort of pick up and play out of the box, especially sort of against each other, Jin and Jun. So let's go into our second one here. I haven't really gone over sort of a lot of the common uncommon cards in here, just because they're reasonably straightforward. Some of them are quite interesting, but I'll mainly just sort of go over the text, the rest of them, and obviously you can always look up the rest of the details should you wish on the other cards. So similarly, we've got our QR code and our playmat on our June deck. That's everything falling down. And let's fail at pull tab, shall we? There we go. So June for me is the more interesting of the 2 characters, just as a sort of, I guess, more advanced player. So, an older player, I wouldn't say so advanced, but Jun Kazama, Light of Hope. So a 7/22 brawler, which is a bit of a difference from a usual sort of Clash deck character, quite often they just stick at like 6 health, 28 to 36, 6 hand size, 28 to 30 health, but having a 7-hander is quite nice to be a bit different in these. And then she's got 2 abilities, so response commit, after an attack deals damage, your rival adds a top card of their deck to their card pool face down, so your turn or their turn. And then enhanced tenacious, spend momentum, ready this card. So she's sort of trying to stuff their card pool to effectively break them on their turn, and stuff their card pool on your turn to effectively get yourself some pseudo speed. And she is on the good, order, and water symbols, so they're both these decks share the good symbol, and in theory every card should at least have the good symbol, so you could buy one of each and then mix and match the cards and sort of build a deck from those if you wanted to. So we start with, I think, probably the best looking card out of both decks, Amatsu Izanami. So a 6/3 with a 1 low block, 4 mid for 8, punch, enhance your rival, add a top card of the deck to the card pool face down. So yeah, it's a really, really pretty card. Effectively 5 speed, because that extra card is effectively giving yourself a speed for the rest of the turn. So just a really nice lead off for her. That's our ultra attack. Our air attack is Shunkai, so a 3/3 with a 2 mid block, 3 mid for 3, powerful 3 punch. So nothing overly complicated on this card, but it's very much if you've emptied your hand defensively by the end of a string, and if Jin has got some momentum saved up, this can very much come at the end of the string and as a 3 diff and then just kill you out of nowhere. So certainly something to be aware of in that. We've then got her Ultra Rare Foundation, another really, really pretty card. The power to stop Jin, so a 3/5 with a 2 mid block, unique. Enhanced commit, your attack is +1 speed and +2 damage, so not an unreasonable rate for a committal. And then enhanced destroy, spend more momentum. If your character is Jun Kazuma, your attack gets +2 speed, +5 damage. So that is a lot of stats. I mean, it's a destroy and momentum, but that's effectively giving you a Sugar Rush power up there. So yeah, a lot of stats for one card. And we then got her Rare Foundation, so Wildlife Protection Agent, 2/5, a 3 high block, enhanced tenacious. If you've dealt damage this turn, add this card to your momentum. So a nice way of her getting that momentum, especially during the turn, in order to maybe land a big old Shunkai. And especially with it being tenacious, quite often you'll see with these effects. Oh, so that's my little Chihuahua wanting to get in on the action. You will often see with these, they don't have that tenacious ability, so in order to snag a momentum from a foundation that way, usually you're essentially giving yourself up a resource for the turn, but this you can commit to pay the cost for your checks and then stuff it into momentum. So probably one of the better ones of this style of card that we've seen, I would say. We then got the rest of her attacks, so we've got Ayame, we've got 4 of those. Again, we're seeing more punches, much like Jin's deck. We've got Grace, we've got 4 of those. We've got Haraide Kanagi. Again, apologies if I'm butchering the pronunciations here, which I almost certainly am. We've got 3 of those. We've got Izumo, we've got 3 of those. And Tsukiyomi, 3 of those. We've then got her 0 diff, so 4 of those, a Kazuma's Power. Adept Parry, we've got 4 of those. We've got Angelic Heart, we've got 4 of those. We've got Defy Fate, 4 of those. Diverting Energy, we've got 3 of those. Ecological Fighter, we've got 4 of those. Jun's Flowing Strikes, 4 of those. Kazama Style Traditional Martial Arts, we have 4 of these. And the last card, Purge the Evil, we've got 4 of those. So again, if we look at her cards and her card pool, so she's trying to deal damage, and so she's got things that trigger off dealing damage in order to then, because that's what she wants to do to trigger her her response, and having like stuff in your rival's card pools. So it's all about that, and like I don't think there's too much here that works on card pool type stuff. But this is the odd card here. Mostly it's a pseudo breaker on their turn and speed on your turn, but there are some things that work with it, like Tsukuyomi. So this can gain throw if they've got a face down card in the card pool, things like that. Ayame will draw a card if they do. So there's obviously not particularly complex interactions with her abilities, and similar with Jin, but they're nice ones. And again, from a beginner friendly standpoint, they're ones that are fairly obvious and sort of make you think, okay, I could play this as my first attack, my Ayame, or actually maybe if I play that as my second attack, I play the first one, they don't block, they take damage, they get a card in their card pool, I can then play that and then draw a card. So you're sort of building up that kind of, I get how the game works when playing with these cards and seeing those sorts of interactions. So again, I think these are really nice and really good in terms of learner products, beginner products, with the odd card here or there that could see play in sort of standard, and some people might want for sort of constructed decks. But these I think are very good, like I say, entry level products, and I think they really knocked it out of the park in terms from that. Obviously not everyone's I think going to necessarily love the card game art, the video game artwork, but I think it's pretty cool. It's Tekken, it's sort of what you expect, but it does have some other really nice art pieces, like I say, especially this one for me. The characters are interesting. I think Jun is probably a bit more interesting. Like Jin is just the more, I'm going to give some stats and punch you, whereas Jun's playing a more complex game. But I think these decks will probably complement each other very nicely in terms of playing off each other and being able to push them two together and maybe build a good deck on one of these two characters out of the two. So, if you're a new player, you pick up one of each of these decks, you've probably got enough to make a deck out of the two of them that's like that, a little bit better, a little bit more cohesive. Get rid of the bad ones, keep in the good ones, and go from there. But like I say, I think these are really nice entry level products. I think they've really done, UVS Games have really done a good job with these, and sort of bringing in that fighting game IPs that have been part of the history of Uuniversus, not so much recently, but obviously always have been in the past. So just sort of bringing that back in. I think these are a good way of starting to drip feed that fighting game stuff back into the sort of arena of the game. So yeah, these like I say, they're really, really good. If you're a newer player, I couldn't recommend these high enough as a really good jumping in point to learn the game of Uuniversus. So with that, obviously, thanks once again to UVS Games for giving these to us to show off to you guys and just sort of go through them. And obviously, as always, if you're watching this, thank you very much for watching. Do all the algorithm stuff, like, comment, subscribe. Always very much appreciated. Really helps the channel. And if you haven't, come and join us on twitch.tv/UKversus, where we stream most Sundays, sometimes on Tuesday, depending on our schedules, just to chat about everything about the game. And hope to see you there. Thanks very much, everyone. See you later.